I'm a good person, I'm a woman of God. I fear my God and I follow what my spirit tells me. For me to come and be alliance with you, PND, the light is, there is a future. Then you are raising some books. So my other one I said to raise. So don't worry, we are working with a lot of people countrywide. But masquerade, listen my message. No masquerading. PF is with you, UPND. So Mr. President, sir, it's too rich. I'm going there, Rumba. Amoria, if I can't go but the things of the matter, my patron to most mother the church to be with dignity. I really thank you what you have done for Pezeni, Chief Pezeni. Nothing else to cash pay, but I
Now, when we started that in 2014, hijackers from MMTK and took over the PF. They got the bad ones, the good ones remain with Dr. Neverson. Those are the ones that took over the PF, they sidelined all of us. Those are the ones my brother Dr. Chishima was talking about, Xavier Chishima. Those are the ones who overborrowed. Even when I tell them, let's not borrow, they now they have adjusted. Some of us, they know here we're related to Satan, even haters with the passion. So I was under the impression since 2014, I was under the illusion that I could unite with them or reconcile differences with them. But sir, upon Africa number, enough is enough. Enough is enough. The bad and the good cannot mix. Those people, they specialize in politics of hatred, while I specialize in politics of love. They hate President HH with a passion. They hate me with a passion. They won't even say why. When you ask them, they won't even say why. They just make an illusion and make up things. And some of it messed with tribalism. Their specialty is hatred. Rewind, sir. Who am I? The Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, I say I rewind. These people, sir, they specialize in politics of hatred. For no reason they hate.
Good evening. Welcome to Spotlight. Tonight, we stand at a massive crossroads in the history of Zambian politics, asking tough questions that define our democracy. 27 years, UNIP ruled this country, but history has a cruel way of repeating itself. In 2011, after 20 years of absolute power, the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, the MMD, fell from grace. Today, they are a ghost of their former selves. Tonight, a chillingly similar shadow hangs over the Patriotic Front, with the PF officially out of the 2026 election race and factions tearing the party apart. We must ask the burning question: is this the official death of the PF? With Robert Chavinga already comfortably aligning with the UPND, and now Miles Mbape Sampa also aligning with the United Party for National Development. Is Zambia heading towards a de facto one-party, state, or is the political landscape about to fracture into something entirely new? These are questions that many are asking. But what does this mean for the future of the ruling UPND? That is not all. In a shocking political twist that has caught everyone off guard, President Hakainde Hichilema has drawn a line in the sand, and on the May 29th, the president looked at the controversial public gatherings bill passed by Parliament and criticized by civil society as an autocratic piece of legislation worse than the Public Order Act. And he said no, citing that this is undemocratic, against public interest, and a violation of Part 3 of our Constitution. HH has sent it back to Parliament. Is this a masterstroke of democratic leadership, or is there a deeper game at play? Tonight on Spotlight, we analyze these issues. Joining me is our resident analyst, Mr. George Chileshe Chomba. Good evening and welcome to Spotlight.
Good evening. Very interesting day.
A very interesting day it is, Mr. Chomba.
Coming to the topic, UNIP is gone, MMD gone. We don't know what the future holds for the PF and also the UPND. Are political parties in Zambia supposed to exist when they are in government? Or maybe they are supposed to exist even when they are not in government.
Walk us through, are we witnessing the final nails being driven into the PF coffin? I ask this question, Mr. Chomba, because the PF is in several, factions. And now the two rival factions of Robert Chavinga and Mao Sampa find themselves on one side of, the coin. It's not the first time. This happened when Honorable Mao Sampa held the controversial convention, on Independence Day. And later on, we did see Honorable Robert Chavinga support him. But their ties broke when Honorable Mao Sampa made a decision, apparently, allegedly by Robert Chavinga, that he goes back to the PF of Edgar Lungu and hands back the PF to Edgar Lungu, a process which could not conclude. But where are we with regards to the life of the Patriotic Front? I know Honorable Makebi Zulu is also a president of the PF Pamozi Alliance.
I think all the politicians who are in the PF should stop joking. What we know at this particular moment is there is a new political party, NRRUP.
NRPUP.
Yes, political party. Assuming they won the presidency, what is the future of the Pamozi Alliance? It can only be called by one name. That is the political party in power. Even if they lost, unless they break up But what we know is Mr. Makebi Zulu is in the RP party, and Mr. Munduvile is also in another political party. But what I'm talking about, which people should understand, is assuming they formed government, which means all these other political parties and alliances of PF, Donse, and all these other things will fall off. Now, let's talk about Mr. Mao Sampa. Can he survive the 5 years as president of the PF? I'm imagining, I don't think so. Assuming President Hichilema said, oh, you alliance partners, you have supported me. I'm appointing you as ministers, as members of parliament. Again, it makes their alliance dysfunctional because when you go into parliament, you'll be saying, oh, I'm a member of parliament, UPND. Let's talk about Mr. Chavinga. Mr. Chavinga is already standing on the UPND ticket, even if he would argue that he's president of the UPND.
President of the PF.
Or president of the PF. If, assuming he wins the position of Mamfinga, member of parliament, would he go to parliament and say, I am PF and I'm also UPND member of parliament? So it will be a very difficult journey as we go towards 2031 for people to start claiming, or for people not claiming, maybe that is a very harsh word, for all these factions to start maintaining their position as PF. But since we can't fact check the future, let's wait and see. But obviously, we are yet to see a time bomb in terms of how politics pan out as we go towards 2030 and beyond.
We know that when an opposition party cannot contest in an election, it pretty much loses its oxygen. I mean, we've seen it in UNIP, we saw it in MMD. We are now seeing it in the Patriotic Front, exactly walking that same path. But let's look at the chess pieces, Mr. Chomba. Honorable Robert Chavinga, who was the official reins of the PF faction, held them in Parliament at least up until its life expired. Is openly aligned with the UPND. If the leader of the opposition faction is already sleeping, in the ruling party's bed, what does this say about the future of the UPND? Are they becoming too powerful? Because there's so many things that have happened. And just today, Mr. Chomba, for the sake of, our viewer that has not seen what has happened in these, past few days, Mao Sampa of the PF has joined the UPND alliance
yes,
together with his supporters, and Charity Banda, one of the very vocal women in the Patriotic Front. UPPZ President Charles Chanda, I hosted him here last night. He's joined together with his supporters, and he says there's a missing piece to the UPND manifesto that he wishes to add, and he feels that his vision is that. Henry Mioba of UNIP and UNIP have joined the UPND alliance. Peter Chanda, the NCP, president, a person, or rather a party, which was used as a special purpose vehicle in the, by the Tonse Alliance and won a seat in Eastern Province, has also joined the United Party for National Development Alliance. Sevia Chishimba, very vocal human being of the UPP, has also joined the United Party for National Development Alliance. This is on top of the other alliance members, Charles Milupi. There's so many of them, that are within the UPND alliance. So many that I can't mention all of them. Is the UPND becoming too powerful for Zambia's democracy?
I think what people should look at is what is it that the UPND has brought on board. All these people who are joining the UPND are talking about issues, the manifesto. Oh, he has implemented this, that is, they are talking about President Hakainde Hichilema. He has implemented this and all those things. What the UPND should do is to correct their arsenal, and I don't mean destructive arsenal, but I mean some of the shortcomings that the people are seeing in terms of if there is implementation of the program. What are the little shortcomings that people are seeing? Now, the little political science, there is nothing wrong in a political party becoming powerful. What is wrong is to be destructive in terms of democratic principles of a political party. But if you are going to exercise democracy within your political party and people are joining you for the benefit of doubt, there is nothing wrong. But in a democracy, the challenge that the opposition have at this particular moment is to discuss some of the policies that the UPND is putting across. That's why we are seeing fights rather than debates in the political arena. The UPND will be tomorrow launching their manifesto. What is it that they have refined, where when the opposition are looking at maybe free education, they are able to argue and say, as you elect us into government in August, this is what we are able to do differently from the UPND, which means it will add quality and all the other things that we are talking about. Debt restructuring. How are we going to tackle debt restructuring? The UPND are talking about pushing the loans maybe 4 years from now, maybe 5 years from now. As the opposition, what is it that you are bringing on board? So people, and some of these people have been critics of the UPND. If you talk about Charles Chanda, you talk about Xavier Chishimba, even Mao Sampa himself. But if they are able to go and be in bed with the UPND and sing praises for the current government, then what the people will be asking is, what else is there to talk about in terms of the new policies and new manifesto and new things that we can talk about? So in terms of differentiating whether the UPND are pulling the opposition to themselves, it's up to the opposition to draw up alternative policies so that people can say, so these guys have got different policies which we can implement to better the lives of Zambians.
Mr. Chomba, this is dangerous territory, for any democracy. And I say this because if the opposition, parties that have been strong voices align, with the ruling party, virtually, if the UPND was to be given a second term, the PF's teeth in parliament have pretty much, been removed. For the UPND, it secures, their dominance. But a democracy thrives on checks and balances. And I know that, the Zambian people, if they need a voice, they're going to try by all means to look at alternative voices, that are speaking different from what the ruling party, is saying. But how do you look at this for on the side of the opposition? Is this making the opposition stronger? That now they know that abatatu abana bena ifwe to abafweka. So if you are relying on inena abanandi abanobeta muli nabo, at least mwaishiba, so that it is easier for you to now focus, on the team that you are with and to know what the way forward is. And we also don't know how many more opposition political parties are going to join the UPND alliance, because there's so much time left before election day.
What I can tell you is our constitution is in two parts. There is the one that we normally don't touch, that is the Bill of Rights, and also the one we change most of the times. So the Bill of Rights guarantees Zambians that you should have the freedom of association and to disengage when you don't like the person that you are associating with. So it will be a minus for all of us to say, hey, can you stay in the opposition when people would like to actually associate with a ruling party? But I can tell you that in terms of watchdogs, institutions, even at Parliament, for example, when the UPND went to the IMF, there were certain conditions which were put forward. And that was, can you put forward the Budgeting Act, which means you can't get a loan without opposition. And what will happen if that is done at Parliament, that is the Public Accounts Committee and also the whole House of Parliament will be against a certain, you want to procure or to contract a debt which has no provisions. So what I can say is that if the opposition would like to be relevant, even the media would like to be relevant in terms of the democratic principles that we have, we need to be researching and to work with these watchdog institutions. For example, the Public Accounts Committee. They always use the books by the Auditor General's report. The Financial Intelligence Committee, we need to have skills where when the document is released and it says $3.5 billion has been illicitly flown out of the country, we need to have skills that are going to interpret that so that people understand. But if we are just going to parrot politicians who are going to say they have stolen money, they have done ABCD, the relevance of opposition and political parties and other institutions will be missing. So we need to invest in, even if the UPND is becoming powerful as a ruling political party, what oversight institutions are checking to educate the voters. Do they deserve a vote? Or what would happen is that people will be knowledgeable as they go to the polling station and say, no. Whether you have become powerful, we don't like how you are governing us because you are not implementing the governance principles of state. So that way, Dr. Kaunda ruled Zambia for more than 17 years as a one-party state, but there was opposition. The media talked about whatever they wanted to talk about. You see, what politicians, and this is what I've come to learn, don't like are alarming statements without facts. If the media and the watchdog institutions speak to the facts, then the ruling party or anybody who is powerful wouldn't touch institutions of governance.
You're watching Spotlight, and we've just looked at phase one or part one of today's conversation, which is bordering on the Patriotic Front. And we've asked the question, is this, the last nail, for the Patriotic Front? Would love to hear your thoughts on this particular story, because in just a few minutes, we're going to be moving to our second part of a conversation, talking about the public gatherings bill. Myself and Mr. Chomba have discussed this, a few days back, and we were trying to, inform the public that this bill had not been assented to by the president, as opposed to what was in public domain, and the president has just confirmed that that has not happened. He sent it back to Parliament. So we're going to be getting to that story in a few minutes. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How are you?
Fine, and you?
Very fine, thank you. What is your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Magawa Stanley.
Please go ahead, sir.
Yes, I've been following the events of politics in Zambia.
All right.
As much as people have opinions, which I understand, we don't change people's opinion.
All right.
But I believe that without a proper opposition, we're going nowhere as a country. Because as much as we have those big people who have been for some time, now if you look at them changing political party, it reminds me of some people like Mkhombe. You know Mkhombe?
Yes.
Who had planned for how many governments? People like Felix Dati, how many governments has he planned to? So as an individual, you should have a vision of yourself. Yeah. So these politicians will just do things for the sake of getting money, for the sake of what, not helping us Zambians. As much as maybe the current political party maybe is doing fine, what is mentioning about those policies, we don't argue those policies. But we still need an opposition, even at home. If the husband says everything and everyone says yes, the wife just says you come drunk every morning, you don't do anything, you say yes, because they're giving money. There'll be no proper accountability in that house. Definitely, even the children will tell Dad, you're coming drunk, you're doing wrong things. People understand you, they're home. But you find that children, because you just spoil them, give them money every time. You can go and do anything what you want to do. When you as a father, you're wrong, it's okay. Even the wife will just say it's fine. That is wrong. Because we need opposition for every healthy country, health institution. There should be, even at any workplace, there should be somewhere where you have divergent views and you just chat on those divergent views.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's what.
All right, thank you very much for that contribution. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Said.
Good evening, Mr. Mlonda. How are you?
We are okay here. How is Sir George?
I'm fine. How are you?
Okay. Yeah. This is the beginning of the end. No, this is the end of the end. The beginning started way back, maybe 2015, 2016, somewhere there, and it was self-destruction. By way of their activities, the PF started their own end, allowing cadreism, corruption, whatever, all those things. This now is the end. I don't think we'll hear of, just like Sir Chomba said, when next time, I don't think they'll take from the ballot. So that will be the end. Maybe they will revive it later, years later. But however, the UPND should be careful. They should take a leaf from what happened to PF itself. After the death of Mr. Sata, they allowed a lot of MMD who somehow came up with their own whatever. So also the UPN should be careful with these people they are receiving. I'm not saying it's bad. No, it's quite very good actually. But they should just be careful not to allow things like corruption, cadreism, which was rampant in those days. Otherwise, it's because the UPN is popular, and somebody says we need the opposition. Yes, we need the opposition. But you see, what we have currently is the best. Why should we go to? Should we have other options? Because currently, what is happening now in terms of development, this is. We are not complaining, some of us. I think we're all late. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that contribution from Dollar. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Wasogoreti.
Good evening, thank you, Wasogoreti. Mlibwanji.
Bueno, Chomba mulibwanji bakulu.
Nile bwino mulibwanji.
Bueno, ni Moses kwa joining.
Moses, please go ahead, Tumfo.
In my contribution, the end of the PF kulingana ngebyo balangire bonse ine mukumana kwa nibayona wire parapeni bayimbira okuyita bayedigaru bakibwere baleti epo PF yaona ikiringa bali kita brand parapeni basala na candidate wa kupera ama checks and balances PF ngepo imanje obwafya ama leaders bali mu PF bali basewo so aba bayona wire again so My worry, I'm a UPND supporter, but in what I concern about Chomba. Mukumona kwanje fonde mora kuri aya ma election ya race. As a UPND, we have got a strong candidate background and nama city yambi ba opposition bali firo kubika ama candidate and yambi alia and oppose. So my question is this: ushe nde mona ko challenge kuri ba opposition bantu ba ruling party as a UPND ile monika kwati ama member of parliament abengi sana mu parliament moja. So I foresee kwatina kalimo the opposition tawachitire sana okubomesha kwantu chali ingire twakwata opposition bagalamba mu parliament abakole batoro government bale chako object tumo manje nga yako bati as a ruling party ifutuka kwata ma members of parliament or more than 150 or 170 opposition manje apo bagalamba bakaba pesa. That is a concern oyo nkwete. So opposition weekend kwa mano bacho mangombe bulu na bana bakuje.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Moses, for that contribution. All right, we now pivot to our latest story, which has shocked both critics and supporters alike. State House Chief Communications Specialist Clayton Hamasaka confirmed that President Hakainde Hichilema has refused to assent to the Public Gatherings Bill and has sent it back to Parliament. Mr. Chomba, critics were calling this bill worse than the Public Order Act because it classified even, the number of people meeting in a marketplace as a public gathering requiring, a 5-day police clearance. Now, were you surprised that the president rejected this? I know the public has been treated to some misinformation in the couple of days that the president had assented to this bill, but like we know and like you've always advised, there are platforms where you are able to check what the president has assented to or not, and at what stage, this process is. But are you surprised that State House has had to clear the air and say that the president has not assented to this bill? In fact, he says this bill is against the spirit of the Constitution because there's so many things that the Zambian people have complained over it, and has asked Parliament to look at this bill again before it can be taken back to him for assent.
One of the duties of the president, and when people read, they should understand, is to initiate bills. And the president could have wanted the best in terms of Public Gathering Act. Now, this has been short-circuited in terms of it has ended at third reading without any assent to the bill. That's how you do it. Within 21 days, you can take it back to Parliament, which means Zambians will have to wait until there are new ministers for it to be relooked at, and then people make proposals in terms of these are amendments that we want. So the president has acted within his rights to send back the same bill. This is not the first time which has happened. The CCTV also was sent back to Parliament by the president. But my comment and my opinion is that there was a lot of criticism against the bill. Even the members of Parliament who are talking about it, when I look at what they were saying, I thought, have they read what the bill is saying or is talking about when it's enacted? But sometimes not to avoid a confrontational stance, you can, as President of the Republic of Zambia, you take it back. Although the president as well, it's a campaign period, when you read through, what Zambians are stuck with at this particular moment is the Public Order Act, which criminalizes 3 people who would like to assemble and protest. That is what Zambians have remained with. And yet, in the proposed bill, that is the public gathering bill, there was an amendment made to have 7 people who would like to protest to
assemble,
to actually notify the
police.
The police. I read, and this the Law Association of Zambia, I can safely say, if I am wrong, they can correct me. Section 6 of the bill, which is in the public gathering bill, stopped 2 different groups from actually assembling at the same time in the same place, which was, I believe, could have been democratic. But this piece of the section was actually criticized by the Law Association of Zambia. So what I am calling for is different groups and NGOs to actually look at the documents and ask themselves whether the Public Order Act is better than the
public gatherings bill.
Yes, public gathering bill. Because what will happen at this particular moment, let's give an example of what happened in the Eastern Province. In the Public Order Act, police were in order to do what they did. But in the public gathering, if it was signed, it was against the principles of the public gathering bill at this particular moment as we speak. So we should look at it with cool heads, but we can only do it after the elections.
There's something that is interesting about this development, Mr. Chomba, and this is that this particular bill was passed by a parliament, where the UPND holds majority, and this has been, feedback from various conversations I've had in the past hour, with different people, and that are saying, but if this bill was passed by UPND, why would the president reject it? Structurally, this is a brilliant move, by the president to protect his legacy, because the draft bill, according to the people that have added voices to this, was inconsistent with, well-established judicial precedents. Now, if the president signed it, he would have handed his critics the ultimate weapon to call him whatever they would call him. Others were even calling him a dictator. But by sending it back on May 29th, the president has cited Article 66 of the Zambian Constitution. He's positioned himself as a defender of the fundamental rights and freedoms. And so it's going to be very difficult, for his competitors to challenge him, because then that bill has been drawn, has been taken away. But also it's what the UPND campaigned for as they were getting into office, that they were going to amend, the Constitution and touch the Public Order Act,
which is a 1955
archaic law. And now they're going to say, we tried to touch it, but you said no.
Actually, what the president has done is to disarm his critics. One, not to sign what could have been a progressive, even if it could have contained some of the things that people oppose. But again, I don't know how the critics of the president are going to condemn the Public Order Act. You see? Because it's a bad law. What has happened over the years, even if Christine Mulundika in 1995 did challenge the obtaining that is a permit and changed to notification, it still remained a very bad law, because the police, using their discretion, could actually tell you, we don't have manpower, we don't have people to police your gathering. But again, if you look at the new public gathering bill, the time at which it could have been implemented was so short in terms of the police embarking on training or retraining so that they understand the provisions of the act. But all in all, 2 things have happened. The critics have been disarmed. They can't talk about it and accuse the president of implementing a bad law. This time, what the police should do, and this is why I talked about this in the afternoon, the police command should meet political parties. We are going towards an election. They should understand the law that they are operating under, so that when the police or political leaders, and in Zambia, it's very strange, the police always act in the name of the president. Not that the president has sent them. When they are confronting people who would like to riot, who would like to do anything, they will say, in the name of the president, we are telling you to disperse. But people have taken it as, Babatu Maguliwa president, especially, I wish Mr. Banda quick recovery. It's not that, it's just the word of command in terms of doing all these things. But my opinion and my advice is the police should meet political parties, or political parties, instead of just meeting maybe the opposition, and make them understand the law under which they operate. Also, in terms of the Electoral Commission of Zambia, they have done their part. They have held meetings. They have explained to political parties, even if I saw very junior officers attending some of the meetings of the Electoral Commission of Zambia and the code of conduct, which was on the last day. But all these things are supposed to be explained to political players so that they understand. If you do this in the electoral process, then you are violating the law.
I spoke to some CSOs, Mr. Chomba, and they were saying that a majority of the elements that were touched in the public gatherings bill were progressive, but there were issues still, especially the Public Order Act restricts the number to 3. The public gatherings bill had increased that number to 7.
Yeah.
And I think for the Zambian, lay Zambian, who has not taken time to read the Public Order Act, when they heard the number 3, which was maintained at first in the public gatherings bill, they felt that Parliament had reduced the number of what it, would constitute 3, or what would constitute a public gathering. But in a sense, they had not. But now, one of the things that the NGO, non-government organizations and CSOs also had said was the proposal in the committees that sat to want to make amendments to, this particular law, was that the number be pushed up to maybe even 2025 before, you can call a gathering a gathering. And those are now things which Parliament has to now sit back and relook, because the president is saying that he wants legal reforms that strengthen democracy and not weaken it.
I'll tell you, the major misinformation which went to the public was, if 3 people are meeting, then they can be arrested by the police. That was the major misinformation. But in the Public Order Act or public gathering, it's you are meeting with a view of protesting. Now, 7 people can meet. If we have no intentions of protesting, why would we inform the police? But we are talking about a bill which has been thrown back to Parliament. So, what are the major or contentious issues which are in the public gathering? The contentious issues which people can say are the meeting, the number of days. And I can tell you, if you look at the standards just around Africa and our neighbors, in Congo, where there is infighting, that is a civil war, yes, they give 48 hours, you notify the police you would like to meet. In Zambia, that was also the standard in terms of being told whether the police have received the complaint. And it was maintained even at passing. But we are discussing a document which has been referred to Parliament. And members of Parliament, one, what they can do, they can agree with the President that they relook whatever provisions are in the bill, or they can pass it the way it is, and the President would sign it or assent to the same. So the only time that we would know what will be contained in the new gathering, if it will be tabled before Parliament again,
to be in the 14th session.
In the 14th session, it's a wait and see situation. Because politicians, I will tell you, politicians sometimes would promise, we are going to take back the document. And yet they will sit back and say, this is the document that you rejected. First of all, let's test whatever we have. But I can tell you the 1955 is a worse document than the public gathering bill. It's only that we are talking about it with political lenses at this particular moment. Now, I'm not saying some of the things which are contained there shouldn't be done. They should. But how should they be done? Yes, the document should go back to committee stage, where NGOs and everybody can participate. And I would propose that we need to change our standing orders or how Parliament actually convenes. Because most of the times, amendments are done after the public have opposed the document, and sometimes the public don't get to know. Why I'm saying this, at committee stage, what normally happens is the minister, and this is what I'm proposing to change. The minister should actually talk about what the changes or the amendment are being effected. At the moment, what happens at Parliament, they will just say Section A is amended as the document has been circulated. But what has been circulated, the public wouldn't know. So it's not good for democracy. It's not good for George Chomba. It's not good for the public. The Parliament should actually talk about this has been changed.
Let me try to bring in, a few voices on this issue as we begin to wind up with tonight's episode of Spotlight. We are discussing the Public Gatherings Bill, which President Hakainde Hichilema has sent back to Parliament, citing, several concerns that have been raised by the public. As things stand, Zambia and this particular election period is still going to operate under the Public Order Act of 1980 1955 actually. 80 Chakuti was even better. 1955, which for a very long time has been referred to as a draconian law. So that is what we are going to operate under. And I want to ask, when I sit down and think, has this decision, or is this political strategy, or is this democracy at play? Because someone tells you this is bad and I'm going to change it, and then when they give you the changes, you say, no, give us what is bad, because what is bad is better than the changes you're about to make.
There was a lot of misinformation and disinformation, and we should sit down later on and relook the document and compare it to the Public Order Act.
All right. Let's listen to what your thoughts are. Hello, good evening. All right, that line dropped. Please do try to call back. This is Crown TV and you are watching Spotlight. Good evening.
Hello? Bakafura kuno kuchambuli kwena bachomba mwa bombe mkwa
mkwai balishani mkwai
kulanda baliranja kibino no manda mwachimu yoko baliranja ba PF ngakabola lero ba PF obabika bakuntanshi kuri ba UPND ko ndamwachimu ne isire sitika kwena wisa kuri public act mwalanda yarira ndikwa cyari sayinishwa irero yayisaranda sayinishwa kwena cyabulanda sana
bakafula
influence ka
bakafula
patinda mwachimumone kwena isindu tachiweni
bakafula
nochita mukwayo
so ngamulatamba bwino Crown TV twalilandira okutira tapali abalanda atiyo ilya bill pali abasaine pali reporter umu ushalandire efyo fyali because limbita bafikonkere bwino but lyonse nga kwaba okusaina amalozi aya palafilya kulaba announcement oyo kutekwa elingiro okupanga nobo butekwa tawapangire announcement so obwo bwalifye yali mangwingwi tekwe bati bali saine nangu bayilandira tunabasaina
okosa kurekeresha pali ba mao sampa kabula ulanda bweka nabasalinga kwena tiri kyabulanda konomba balalande nawe kyabulanda ekintu nomba nakishiba idm ekintu turebutukira konomba untanshi
wakafula twatasha sana. All right, thank you very much for that contribution. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, mabomba sani.
Mkwai badishani.
Mkwai brande na mkwai pondola.
Mkwai.
Mkwai. Abalira kufukuranda yakaba maukamba. Ya Patriotic Front. You know, ine arwani iki. Apuye vai la clave. You know, it's only that the mosema amapoliticians to that stand of what the other stand. Most of them they are talking. And the two they handle things and they don't consult around the party. You know, when PF lost the election in 2021, the former head of state, the red said in my studies, it was good. He was supposed to hand over power. Yeah, Patriotic Front. Up to now. I want to go to the conference. Now he opted to come back again, which was so confusing. Confusion of the until he's dead, he's not going to handle out. Over the issue to the so, it's the number. People had used to doing it. So, I can't just go night of our party. You know, when it comes to come up with the actual, you know, the Parliament and the quality. I'm a parliamentarian, we have a parliament. Very issue of quality, but community. Number the Bacarati, this in the issue of one. I'm not the director of parliament, city after 5 years. I want the facility to be a formula done. They are arguing themselves, no good from instead of thinking of what a good thing are we going to do for the Zambia. And this Zambia we are talking about, it will still have another 1 million years called reading in time. I think when I think about the end about map on the challenge. That's the problem that we have. So we need the parliamentarians who will think that we still have more years to stay and more babies are being born. What plan are we going to do for the nation? Then we are going to have good debates. We are going to debate on issues which are going to be in development in our country. That is my experience.
All right, thank you very much for that contribution. We're grateful to everyone that has managed to call in, and to all of you that are even texting on our social media platforms and have sent us messages. Unfortunately, because the topics were quite broad, we could not read your messages online, but we will take time to go through the messages even after the program is done. Mr. Chomba, this is where we have to leave it.
Zambians should follow Parliament. What are the new laws being introduced? They understand them. The public gathering, they should follow it because it's on the website of the National Assembly, and prod the new members of Parliament to debate the new proposed law with open minds. In terms of Mao Sampa joining the UPND, it's his democratic right. But politicians in Zambia should avoid being termed as Mushani Nabwali. What should happen is what contribution are you taking forward so that whatever policy, whatever decision is made, is for the betterment of the country.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chomba, for your insights. And the president, he has used his constitutional powers to reject a law that was passed by his peers. One thing for certain tonight is that Zambian democracy is loud, it is unpredictable, and it is evolving right before our eyes. Thank you very much. And for you at home, for watching, keep the conversation going on our social media. Let's interact. This is important for democracy. My name is Seidlitz Nkhonjera on behalf of Mr. Chomba and the entire Crown TV team. Pleasant viewing.